thought it would be fun to make one of those stacked pumpkin decorations that I'm seeing all over this year. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy this project is. For the base of my pumpkin stack, I'm using one of these little wooden plant pots that I have in my stash. You get these at the craft store. This one is 1 inch across at the top and 1 inch tall. You don't have to use one of these. You could use a miniature bucket. You could use pretty much anything you have that you like. If you look online at examples of what people are putting on their front porch as far as these stacked pumpkin decor goes, they're using all kinds of stuff. So we can too. And it can be any color you want. And you even got some leeway on what color you make your pumpkins, because pumpkins, people are decorating with pumpkins, all different colors this year. So I am going to paint my pot black simply because I want the pumpkins to really show up, and I want it just to be really basic. I don't want to go real fancy with this. So I'm putting it onto a craft stick with some of that poster tack stuff, simply to help me keep my fingers cleaner and my work surface cleaner. And I'm actually, I'm going to put it out. Get a plastic container here and put some of this paint on the bottom of it. That way I'm working from a palette. It's a little easier. It's a little less messy. And I don't run the risk, although there's nothing on this little pot, I don't run the risk of getting anything in my paint. So I'm going to paint the outside, and I'm going to paint the top edge and down. Probably don't even need to go down in at all, but I'll probably go in just a little bit, just in case you can see it, or in case I decide to take this apart someday and use the pot for something else. It'll already be painted. There. That way I know there's no wood showing. So I'm going to go ahead and coat this with a good coat of black paint. I'm going to make sure there are no spots. If I need to, I'll add a second coat. And when the paint is dry, then we'll come back and we'll start working on our pumpkins, because we're going to actually be working with our pumpkins directly on top of this pot so that we know that that bottom one fits. So I will be back when this dries. All right, our black paint has dried, and I'm okay with how it looks. I don't think I'm going to touch it up. I think it's fine. So I'm going to set that off to the side till I get my clay ready. So I have conditioned my clays, but I'm going to show you what colors I'm using and how much, and then I'm going to turn the camera off and get them mixed so my two mixes are ready. So I have some Fimo in Cognac. Now, I'm not sure if this is a color that's still available. I'm digging out of my clay stash. It's kind of a pumpkin-y color. And remember, pumpkins come in all different colors anymore. So whatever color you want to use, go for it. I'm taking some of that and I'm mixing it with some Sculpey in Suede Brown, which is just a dark brown. A Fimo chocolate would work. Anything that's kind of a dark brown. I'm doing 3 tones of basically the same color. For the top one, then I have some more of the cognac, and then just some white so I can lighten it up significantly. So I am going to get these all mixed so they are just totally mixed together. I'm going to also condition, I forgot, I have it off to the side and I forgot to grab it. I believe this is hazelnut. For the top pumpkin is going to need a stem, and yes, this is hazelnut. I'm going to use just a little bit of hazelnut for the stem on the top. Actually, I'm going to mix a little bit of white into a little bit of that, because that's awfully dark. All right, so that will be my stem. So I am going to get my clay mixed, and then I'll be back and we'll start making pumpkins. All right, I have my clay colors all mixed. This is my darkest color, my just plain cognac, and my lightest. And then I added extra white from what I showed you earlier to get the stem color definitely lighter than everything else. So we are going to make a pumpkin. I'm going to actually back you up just a tiny bit. And I'm going to make a ball. Start with a ball. And you can make your pumpkins any style you want. I looked online. Some people have very tall, skinny pumpkins. Some people have shorter, squatter pumpkins. It's up to you what your style is and what you want to do. I'm doing kind of the short squatty because I like those better. I think they look cuter. And that's about the size I want. So I'm going to use, I've got various tools out here depending on what I decide I like the best. And I'm going to make lines. Excuse me. We have an extremely high pollen count today, so if I sound congested, that is the reason. Okay, now that one is ready, so let's double check. Yeah, I like that. Now let's take just a little bit less clay. This one I didn't add anything to. I'm going to make a ball off camera and then come back. Alright, now let's smush out my ball and see if it's as big as I want it to be or if I need to add more clay. Oh, that looks good. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing. It's pretty easy to make a pumpkin, and they can have, you know, personality that you want. You could make yours more specifically Halloween if you wanted to. Some of these are done with jack-o'-lanterns. I chose not to because I want mine to be more of a generic fall decoration for my dollhouse. But if you wanted to go just Halloween, you definitely could. You could make jack-o'-lanterns. Maybe next year we'll do a light up jack-o'-lantern. I'll put that on my list maybe for next year. All right, there we go. Now I want to make sure that I have, whoops, come on, don't stick together yet, that I have these lines coming further up. You don't want the lines on your bottom pumpkin to end before your top your next pumpkin up. So that the ends of the line show. You want the lines to go underneath. There we go. Let's see how this looks so far. Oh, that is cute. That is going to be cute. So now I need a little less clay than that. And you could probably even go taller. Some of these are taller than this. I don't want it to be as big as the middle one, but I want it to be a little bigger than I almost did there. It's not quite so smushed. There. Now this one, we are going to poke a hole in the top just a little bit. There, down. And then I'm going to go all the way down. Now, most times I would probably pre-bake my stem, but I decided on this one I didn't want to because I'm kind of hoping that I can kind of use a ball tool and make it look like it's joined a little more. We are. Let's double check. Oh, it looks good. Okay, I am going to bake this, and because this is so tall and I want to bake it in one piece. How tall is this? Let's measure. It is over 1 inch tall. So I'm going to bake this at a slightly lower temperature than normal, at about 235 to 250, and I'm going to bake it for a half hour because I want it to cure all the way to the middle. If we don't cure our clay all the way to the middle, our clay is not as strong as it could be. So I will bake this and allow it to cool to room temperature, and then I'll be back and we can go on to the next step. I decided to, while I'm waiting for that to come out of the oven, I am going to give my pot a coat of satin Mod Podge. I'm going to go over the edge. This way, when everything is out and cooled, I'll be able to show you the entire thing together. So I'm just going to continue putting this on, get a nice even coat, and set it aside to dry. I will probably paint down inside. I think I am not going to attach my pumpkins to this if it will stay on. I'm going to leave it loose so that I have more options later for how I use both pieces. So when this is dry, and that is out and cooled, I'll come back and we'll see how our decoration looks. All right, the baked clay is cooled and the Mod Podge is dry. I love how this turned out. Now, I've been debating whether I wanted to glue this on. I'm not going to. I'm going to leave mine loose so that I can take it apart for storage, and also if I want to use them as separate pieces. Maybe I'll have something different I want to put it on next year. But I love how this looks. So let's move over to the dollhouse porch and let's see how it looks in place. And there is our pumpkin stack in place on the porch of the dollhouse. I love how this turned out. I think it would be really cute to make a smaller one and put it on our cake stand that we made on the channel a few months ago. And then you could have one on the inside of the house too. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure and hit the like button. Leave me a comment. What kinds of projects would you like to see in future videos? If you enjoy my content and haven't subscribed, I encourage you. Hit that subscription button and the notification bell so you know when I put up my next video. Thank you very much for watching today, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.